Hi, this is Ken here from smartforexeducation.com. Just checking in with yourself very, very quickly, because what I wanted to do today is to take a quick look at the gold chart. So this is the gold chart on an 8-hour time frame, and today later on we have some very, very important news occurring. We have the USD Federal Open Market Committee rate, and then following that we have the FOMC to release projections of the economy and Fed funds rate. And and the cherry on the top here, we have the Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke, to hold a press conference. So we have a lot occurring in the space of about a 2-3 hour period, and that will start at about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so the time now is 14:45 CET time, which is basically about 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. So what I wanted to do is, we've seen on the 8-hour time frame that the market, if you look at the bigger picture, we've seen that the price has slowly decreased. Okay, so we've seen some lower highs occurring in the price, and we've seen a massive slump. This is the safe haven of the gold has also been affected due to the whole contagion fears in the euro debt crisis. But we've seen some form of a support where the price tested lows, found the support of the January 2012, and then we saw a bounce. So we saw a bounce where the market was trading in some form of indecision before we saw a spike up to the upside. And then what I actually did is I drew in some trend lines, well, one trend line. And what we can clearly see here is that we've seen a slow appetite for gold in an increase in the value. And this has been occurred for the reason why there's been an increase in speculation. Hedge funds have increased their long net positions in gold due to the potential of the Federal Reserve bringing out the QE3, so the quantitative easing. But during this period, that has obviously increased. But interesting, what's happened is that the price has tested the trend line second, third time, and basically we saw massive weakness occurring here. Not only would a massive weakness occur at the trend line resistance, we also found that it tested the previous high, and very interesting, we had the sucker punch, or the flush trade setup, where we saw, let me just change that a second, where we saw here, let's go to freehand, where we saw the RSI making lower highs, but you can actually clearly see here on the 8-hour chart that there was a higher high occurring here. So a flush trade setup occurred. This actually sucked in a lot of buyers that thought that the price is going to try and break through and test maybe the previous high at 1640. But then there's been some more fears. So on top of the technical side, where the market seems where it's too expensive, it sucked in a lot of speculators, retail traders potentially, and now they're caught out to the upside. And the flush trade setup, we've seen that there's a divergence occurring, where there was a follow-on effect where there's a huge turn. On top of this commencement of this sell-off, we heard potential news coming out that due to the current slow growth in the US, it had been slow, but it had not been at the point of where they thought a few weeks ago. Added to that, the Greek elections, and the Greek elections was won by the pro-euro. Okay, so they're happy. They want to stay in the euro, the new democracy, and they want to find any ways that they can agree on a new agreement for the stimulus package. So that was a positive sign. It seems that the gold was potentially looking for a worst case scenario, which will mean that the Federal Reserve will look at trying to pump to print money for the QE3. That hasn't occurred with the Greek elections. So now people are now thinking, or the speculation is that we're just looking for not the QE3, but just the Operation Twist. So potentially, if that's going to happen, then you'll see a huge strength in the US dollar and a weakening in the commodity, i.e., for example, the gold. So technically, fundamentally, it's showing some weakness here. Hence the reason why we've seen a sell-off on the 8-hour chart. Market's really pushed down today. And we'll see what happens in a few hours. So just wanted to give you a quick heads up of the situation. If the market continues to sell off, then potential targets you want to look for is quick target here of a bounce to this support. Also, I will draw in a retracement level. Okay, so what you could potentially see, you can potentially see a sell-off where the next few days, week, where we can potentially get down in and around this 1589 area, and it could actually get clear through it, and maybe look at testing the June 8 lows. Okay, so I'll keep you updated with what happens, and I'll speak to you soon, my friends. Happy trading. Take care.